Alrighty guys, g'day, welcome. Almost time to get this show on the road. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you all had a good weekend. And let's get this show on the road, guys. So, always, good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening wherever you are around the world. Welcome to another big week on the charts. Special day today. It is my little man's 9th birthday, so he is at school, so otherwise he'd be here and I'd make you all say good day to him, but he's at school, so I'm waiting for him to come home, and be a good evening for him today. So anyway guys, nonetheless, we are here to look at the charts and see what we can come up with moving forward. It's been a very good August. I'm looking forward to another big September. Generally, September's been a really good month for myself. Some of the volume tends to really kick in around this month. Obviously, A lot of the over in Europe and the US, a lot of the firms and all that, a lot of people go back to work after the summer holidays. So really looking forward to a big September. We'll see what we've got in moving forward. Now, having a look at the news today, it is a bank holiday over in the US, so not expecting a great deal, to be honest, with volume, especially on gold. So it might be focused more on GJ today, but anyway, we'll see what we can come up with. So without further ado, guys, if you could, don't forget to smash the like button. Those of you on TikTok as well, if you can't, if the stream gets banned again, as it tends to do quite often, I apologize. Just find me on YouTube. I'm streaming live on YouTube, so just look me up, A.C.T.Forex. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get into what we're here to do, and that is trading. So let's have a look at GJ, and let's start with the weekly time frame. And as we can see, the previous weekly did close back a strong bullish candle, closing right up near its high after leaving a long wick to the downside, suggesting to me to grab some more liquidity from the downside. And the current weekly candle is a high probability will now continue to the upside. So what we've done though will be more evident once we go down to the 30-minute time frame. We can see what the price has basically popped straight up at the open and pulled back down now to create slow wick, and has since formed support. Looking at the daily, structure wise, we do remain bearish, but we have broken a resistance. We're now pulling back below it, so it is at a very key level, that 192 flat region. So price needs to really pop above that level, remain above it, form a support above it, I feel, if we were to continue bullish moving forward into today. Now, so we are technically bearish in structure as well. Onto the 4 hour, what we can see is we're just in an area of consolidation right now in the 4 hour. We're stuck in a range. Once again, we pull back below at 192 flat region. Above it, got a bit of margin up towards 193 to 50 roughly. Structure wise, we do actually still remain bearish from this big impulse to the downside, the origin being around that 200 flat level. So there's a long way off to actually flipping the structure bullish at this point. So we do remain bearish in structure on the 4 hour. Just got banned again on TikTok. All good. They have no idea what the deal is with TikTok. All right, so let's focus YouTube. So the 4 hour is now technically at a resistance, so we can mark that level in just now. Move it across to the left hand side. So it's the same level I marked in, basically similar level I marked in with the group yesterday when I did the analysis on with the VIP group. We've not yet confirmed support at this point here. We've got the most recent support is still around that 190.57 sort of level. So we're a bit of a way off that support. Structure wise, like I mentioned, we do remain bearish and we do remain below this resistance. Now onto the 30-minute time frame. So I'm just going to adjust this resistance now, and I'm going to incorporate the highs. So the very strong level that we're currently at. What we can see is the M30's flipped structure bearish as well. So therefore, my bias today is to look for sells. We've got support at this point here within the current daily candle. Going to mark it in a whole zone. It is technically a 15-minute zone, so I'm just going to mark that whole level in. What we can see is those we've flipped the structure at that resistance, and we're back below at 192 flat. We've flipped it bearish. So for me today, my idea is, so long as structure remains bearish on the M30 time frame, what I'm going to be looking for is price to pull back, to tap in towards that 192.30 again, retest the resistance around the current daily candle side, and then Mr. Phil, I'll just mute you up for a sec, mate. Sorry guys. And at that point there, I'll be looking for my calcium price action to take a sell back down. So sells from the resistance, they're definitely going to be an option. Now, as far as further sells, see, in this sort of circumstance, we've got some very choppy traffic to the left. As soon as you break the current daily candles low, which has bounced off the support, you're running straight into another support. Below that, you got another support. So in this sort of circumstance, what I suggest to my guys, this is the scenario where I'd rather see this, where price creates a clean move to cut through a lot of that mess to the left. Doesn't necessarily have to tap into 190.50, 190.60, but the bigger the impulse, the better. Because then if it does create a clean pullback, form rejection again, it might not necessarily be at that support within the current daily candle, could be at support a little bit lower down. But if it pulls back, creates a clean pullback, and gives us our price action signal to sell it from a rejection of a resistance, and it could be options to potentially look for a sell based off that. So I'm not going to necessarily put the sells below in, because people are just going to assume if we close below or push below, we're going to sell it. So I'll just leave it for the time being. Just remove that level for the time being. And for the buy options, guys, so we just bounced off of support based off that weekly candle. To be honest, I'm not against buying it from lower down. I'm really not. I'd rather it, if it does come back down, respect the current daily candles low. It makes a clean move back down just now and provides a signal within price action, then I would trust that based off the back of the strength of that previous weekly candle. We could just be pulling back yet again, grab a little bit more liquidity from the market before we begin to head back up. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark in buys from support, and further buy options. Definitely if we flip the structure back bullish, again we've got the weekly counter probabilities to the upside already, but also the daily counter probabilities to the upside. So if you do begin to pop above 192.50, the psychological round number, buys are also going to be an option on GJ moving forward. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. Please, if you could, smash the like button, help me out, and we'll have a look at the gold. So that is GJ. Looking now at gold. Again, I'm a little bit hesitant to trade it today for the US bank holiday. Not sure if we're necessarily going to have the volume, but we'll do the analysis nonetheless, and we'll plan ahead. And if something really does present and it's too good to refuse, I may take a small position. All right, so looking at the weekly time frame and the previous weekly candle, it to me is a weak bearish candle. It's left a significant wick in either direction. We've since broken a lot of that previous weekly candle. So based off that, I'm calling it weak bearish, but we now have counter probabilities to the downside. Having said that, if we were to continue bearish, there is not much of a need for us to really pull back up and break our own high. If we do so, that perhaps we're grabbing some liquidity from the downside and ready to push back further into that previous weekly candle's high. So we're technically bearish in a weekly. Daily structure remains bullish, once again above the current daily candle's high. We'll be popping back above that support here to the left around that 2500 flat, also 2505 as well. So I think it's a pretty important level. Also going to mark in the current daily candles low. Looks like we've got a bit of margin below that point to the next support on the daily time frame. We do know we are bullish in structure though, but with counter probabilities to the downside. So using those counter probabilities along with the weekly candle, that could potentially give us options to sell it onto the 4-hour time frame. Now that remains technically bullish as well. So that's the high. We've not closed above it, nor have we closed below the low. So anything in between, we are technically bullish. Just going to mark in support to the downside, and I'm going to mark in the most recent level of resistance. So again, that level is key in my opinion, 2505. That point there, if we do pop above it, once again breaking the current daily candle's high, once again also we're breaking the 4-hour resistance. I've got some clean traffic to the left hand side, likely going to be options to buy above that point there. Onto the 30-minute time frame, quite evident above that current daily candle side, definitely going to be options in my opinion for the potential buyers. So at that point, 30-minute structure should also be flipping bullish, so that's just adds confidence to that. So you got the 30-minute flipping bullish and a closure above. You got the daily, which we're seeing it's got a lower high, lower low, will be pulling back to break its own high. Plenty of other confidences. So for me, I'd definitely be keen on looking for the buys above that 2505. Now as for sells, so I'll just leave that card, doesn't really make a difference. As for the sells, so the bias is now technically neutral. We've got the daily and 4 hours bullish, we've got the weekly and 30-minute is bearish. So as for the sells, if we pull back and remain below 2505, form rejection and provide a signal within price action, I would definitely be interested in looking for a sell option from back at the highs from that resistance. It makes perfect sense to do so. And so if we do pull back, respect the current daily candle's high, even if we break it but remain below the resistance, close below it, now still could look for the potential sell options. Now we've just now formed support just here on the most recent candle between 24.95.30 roughly. Let's have a look below it. 15-minute running into a little bit of support. Look, It's tough because I'm down in the volume today, but if this was any other day where we don't have a bank holiday in the US, I would probably be considering sells below 24.95 in all honesty. Below that point there, price was to close below it. Likely it's going to tap into the 15-minute support, and you're likely going to be starting to enter below that level in the 15-minute either way. So I would put sells below. I'm just going to drag that down. And that's pretty much it. Now, I'm a bit hesitant to take the buy as well. Obvious reasons, lack of liquidity. It's against the structure at the moment. It's just in consolidation, so I'm going to ignore the buy. But I mean, again, if it was a really nice strong closure above the consolidation, there is a good chance coming up to 25.03. But yeah, I'm going to avoid it for the time being. So that is my opinion of both GJ and gold, guys. So GJ looking better. It's also obviously the previous candles closed back bearish at a resistance. You got bearish engulfing M15. You've got the current candles broken low and is now pulling back. If we were to break our own low again, to me that's a pretty good entry, guys. I don't know what you guys think, but price is to pull back and break its own low again. See, we've got that engulfing M15, and we've got the 30-minute closing back bearish below this previous resistance. Potentially now we could be pulling back to create a lower high within price action. So for me, at this rate, I'm going to be placing a sell stop. The low is at 80, so around 77.83 roughly. Stop loss above the previous M30. Ready M30. So that's a pending order. That's what I'm going to be looking at. I feel it makes sense. It's also with the bias, so it's definitely something I'd be interested in looking at if it does present. Yeah, so how are we all, guys? Morning to you, Saxy, Vishal, Franco. Good to see you guys on the stream. Wishing you a beautiful son, a very happy birthday. Have a great day. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. So Franco, thank you as well. Brad, good afternoon to you, brother. Tony, grand rising to you. Mahabir, good morning to you. Thank you very much. Yeah, he was a pretty happy little man this morning. Mr. Phil, good morning to you. So yeah, he's got a cake for all these cupcakes ordered for every student in his class. Probably having it soon. I'm assume. Jay, good morning to you, brother. So yeah, got a pending order now on GJ, guys. So wrong way. The order is set at, actually I better set it, I haven't set it yet. 191783. Now, when will this become invalid? Well, if this candle breaks the previous candle's high, I'm likely going to remove at that point there. It could just grab liquidity if it did break again, but then it's a high probability it would make the move down. But what I'd probably prefer to do at this rate, if that was to be the case, is wait for the closure in the 15. But at this point, it's still valid, so I'm keeping the order in. Anyone in any trades as we speak? Had a pretty big weekend. Had a much bigger night than I thought I would on Saturday. So it was all good. It was good fun. Olive, good morning to you. Zoom chat. Good day to you guys. Yeah, feel free to ask questions and that as well. You guys know the drill. Calm, not yet. No, I've got a pending order, but I'm probably about to remove it on a GJ sell. Based off the 15-minute engulfing, the 30-minute bearish liquidity candle below that resistance, and the 30 minutes flip bearish. So the bias is technically bearish right now with 30-minute, the 4-hour bearish, and the weekly. Sorry, the daily, not the weekly, daily structure. But there are enough confluences to buy it as well, so I'm not discounting buy options today. But at this point, I prefer to look for a sell if it presents. And if this candle closes a strong bullish candle, then what I'm going to need to do, in accordance to my rules, is remove the order and then wait for the next M15 to form and to close. And if it closed right back near the low or engulfing, that would then lead me to putting the entry back in. Now, we had a sim session yesterday, and this looks eerily familiar to pretty much all those entries. They're all very similar. It was a really good sim session, went for about an hour. Currently in EU, buys, stops to break him, nice one. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I mean, it's against the structure and bias, but you're moving into clean traffic. I'm assuming you're probably in from lower down, unless you're in from here, but yeah, I'm assuming you probably got in lower down. So I'm just going to wait a few more minutes, and I'm going to remove the order and wait about 10 pips in profit. Yeah, so you're in from nice one. Nice one. It's a pretty good catalyst. It's a pretty good signal, to be honest. If you got in there, based off price bouncing off the support, you've pretty much got the engulfing very close to. So, nice one. Nicely played. Alright, I'm going to remove the order. And I'm going to wait. Are there buys? Interruption entry buy valid if we close. If we close. Now, let's measure this. What's the high of this candle? 998. So 0.48. 192.048 is where we need to close. For a valid interruption, pause candle entry, we need to close above that horizontal. Because what we've done, we've created an impulse up, we've got a pause within price action. If it's to be wiped out by a strong bearish engulfing candle, enough to suggest to me, then what it will be enough to suggest to me will be about 5 pips above the high of that bearish candle. That could just be a pause. And what I see often play out is the new candle will pull back to create lower wick, tap into around the high of that bearish candle, bounce off it, make the move. So that's currently now what my focus will be on. It's flipped very quickly, but it's within reason. So if it doesn't close back up at that point there, then I'm basically going to be waiting again for the next M15 to see where that closes. So it's very simple process to follow. No FOMO, there's no I'm not too sure, is it valid or not valid. That's just exactly what I'll be waiting for. Now, I'm not interested in taking a buy above the high upon continuation, because it's based off this is still the 15-minute. We don't yet have the 30-minute closing back bullish. The 15-minute pause play is valid though. Potentially. Mr. Phil, GU. I'll make the Zoom chat small. I'll just have to move you guys. GU on the M15. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad at all. Even if this candle closed a weak bullish candle, still could be valid sells as price begins to break that minor support. GU actually looks a little bit better than GJ because there's a lot of strength in this current candle on GJ. GU is still showing signs of potential weakness below that resistance. The only issue with GU, it kind of looks like it's consolidating. I'm not too concerned it hasn't pulled back up to 131.350 because it's pulled back to another resistance on a lower high, and that's where it's rejecting currently. GU looks okay. I'm just not sure about the traffic. Alright, so focus on GJ. Gold's going the opposite direction at the moment. We'll watch the 15-minute. Minutes remaining in this candle, so it needs to close above that horizontal in order for it to be valid. If not, I need to wait at least another 15 minutes to see where we're at. I know how to get around the TikTok ban. I thought I'd give it one more crack before. I need a VPN. It's something to do with being here in Thailand. I think it's considered fraudulent activity. So I wonder how long I'm banned for this time. Whoop. Excuse me. Apologies. All right, so 1 minute left. And this rate, it looks like we're not going to close above that horizontal. GU still looks pretty good. Based more off the 30, it's just the matter of whether you've got margin. There's no margin. 4 pips, just, yeah. Well, I mean, the beauty about the majors, you can get really tight stop losses. So let's just say your stop loss is above that previous M30. Your stop loss is about 5 pips. I'd still feel like I'd want a little bit more margin, in all honesty, if it were me. Alright, so the 15 is not going to close above, so there's no pause candle entry. So we need to now wait for another 15 minutes. And what I really prefer to see at this rate, seeing this bias is technically to the downside, I would really love to see the next M15 end up doing this. And if it did this, then the sell's going to be back on the table on the next M30. But the charts can do whatever they want to do, so we'll just have to wait patiently and see. That's why we only react once we get the confirmation. We just wait, we chill, we talk smack, we talk shit, we talk crap, whatever, until the time. So we've got 15 more minutes, guys. Did a leg workout today. Had to walk up about 3, sort of walk down 3 flights of steps after it. It was such an effort. Oh my god. Walked very, very slowly. Very close to the, the rails. That was the weekend, guys. Mr. Filch, yeah, looks nice. There is no range. It's a nice strong closure, but it's at support. That's the only thing. Joel, great weekend. Chilled with some school friend. Nice one. Yeah, I caught up with an old mate. Known for probably about 10 years. Yeah, about 10 years now, 10, 11 years. In travels to Thailand. Yeah, not being a pretty big night here. It was a good night though. Paid for a little bit yesterday. Still managed to do the sim session with the members though. And this evening, went out and got the little man's ice cream cake for his birthday. And this evening is all about the little man once he comes home. If you're not following me on IG, that's probably where you see some of the action. Plans, just some friends coming around, family friends, and some the ex's friends that he knows of. His friend, you know, they're friendly to him. He's obviously not his age, but just to have a little party for him. Because being a school night, can't necessarily have all kids around. They'll have to wait for next weekend. This weekend it was Father and Son weekend. I took him out Saturday for the whole day. It was a good day. He's a good boy. Tall little kid. Gets it from his mum's side, that's for sure. All kids are tall these days though. I don't know what's in the water. He's 9 years old and he's already like 146 centimeters or something.
Hey, good morning, man.
Franco, good morning to you, brother. How are you?
Fine, very good. So,
Good to hear.
how was your weekend?
Yeah, really good, mate. Really good. Had a good day on Saturday for the little man. Took him to the play center and went to the arcade area beside it.
Okay,
Took him
nice.
out for lunch and that.
So, and you was also playing, huh?
Of course, not in the play center so much, but just a little bit in the ball. What's it called, like the ball pool of balls or whatever. Throwing the balls at him.
Nice, nice.
But yeah, the arcade and that, of course, having a bit of fun with the little man, playing air hockey and all that. He loves that stuff. So,
And today, how old?
9, 39. Well, he's 9 today,
years,
so
okay. Wow, time is passing, huh?
yeah, very fast, very fast. Still remember the exact moment he was born, the day, the time.
Oh yeah, you will never forget such a thing. So,
No, he's a good little kid. Very well behaved. He's good. I think it's a cultural thing because here they're taught straight from the beginning about discipline and that, having respect.
yeah.
I think sometimes, well, now what I see a lot, the Western world, it's a lot of the time there's not much control anymore of the kids. Not that it sounds like, you know, it's not what I mean. Not that you should be controlling, but you guys know what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
there's not as much discipline.
I think the good thing is, Justin, that you know a lot more than maybe other people's, because you are living on different cultures
Yeah,
and you see some different things, and the good thing is you can easily adapt to the things that you think are important in life. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So no, that's good. He's very well behaved.
So I heard that today is in America is a bank holiday.
Yeah, it's a bank holiday. We saw yesterday when we were doing the update video and the sim session. So it's not sure if I really want to be trading gold today, due to that.
Yeah, that could be better.
Yeah, it's likely best just to give it a day off on gold and focus on the pound pairs.
Yeah, this maybe could be a lead that maybe we will we'll see maybe some moves at the beginning of the London session. So
yeah,
so otherwise it will be difficult if we will be maybe in 2 hours in London session. Maybe it will be difficult that we see another move.
yeah, potentially, exactly, because there's likely to be a lack of volume. Yeah, that's true.
Was you always going through GU already, or?
Yeah, being through it. To me, it's just in a very awkward area. I would prefer to sell it. I actually haven't been through it, have I? This is what chart I marked up and sent into the group just before. Yeah, I prefer to sell it. The bias is technically bearish. The issue is right now it's essentially just consolidating. There is no volume. So I'd probably prefer at this point for it to maybe pull back a little bit further again, to be honest. Even if it pops above 131, 380 and fails to close above and starts to close back below it, and then potentially look for a sell. Otherwise, I'd rather wait for a sell from higher up or clean move down and then pull back personally.
Yeah.
What
absolutely. So right now I see that also that there is no margin if taking.
Yeah, correct. That's why I just mentioned that before as well.
If I look to the 1 hour, you can see a clearly consolidation.
Yeah, very much so
in this phase, and the cells below this support. I think it's clear that we need to have at first leg down.
Correct.
Then leg up again, creating resistance, and then take the cells.
Yeah.
Because there is not a quite good traffic on the left side.
No, you got very choppy traffic to the left.
Correct. So yeah, absolutely. This is also what I see on the market.
Same. Yep. Nice one. Yeah. Nice one. Good to see. We're all looking at similar type of thing.
Yes.
Wouldn't expect anything different, to be honest. Yeah, so it's just a matter of patience now, especially on GU. GJ, so the high of that candle there was 26, so 76 minimum this would have to close above. And doesn't mean I'm just entering. I want to measure what we've got above that level. So 76 is where the price needs to close above in order for the pause play to be valid on the 30-minute now. Now let's measure it. On the 30, there's enough. On the 15, is there enough margin though? 15 is pretty much the same. Alright. Based off that then, there could be options on the pause play. Potentially. Exact same scenario, but now back off the back of the 30. And the entry's a little bit higher up though. Or, hang on, you could still enter the same spot. It's still valid it's just a valid a candle, 2 candles later, as opposed to following the pause. And I'd rather do that, to be honest. Give it a little bit more room. You're gonna have a tighter stop loss at that point as well. So potentially, I would say if the close is pretty much where it is, then it's going to be valid on the pause play.
You mean to take then some buys there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the weekly as well, based off that weekly count, we do have count probabilities to the upside. So I'm looking at 191,992. As a potential entry point.
Well, but the candles have still big volume in GJ.
This is pushing. That might mean we have to look for the 30-minute. I'm gonna wait until like the last 30 seconds and then decide whether I'm gonna, just depends where his candle closes, where I'm gonna keep it set at where I've got it now or reset it to the high of the 30-minute, because it's valid on both at this stage. So I'm just gonna wait to see where it actually closes just now. If we are to use the 30-minute as the entry point, your stop loss is going to be around 23 pips, which isn't still, it's not too bad. If you use the 15-minute, stop loss is going to be around 20, 19 to 20. At this rate, I reckon I'm going to likely be moving it to the 30-minute high. Two 192.022. I don't want to fly just now though, because then it's going to pull back way too far. Now, I'm not going to look for the buy upon continuation. I'd rather get in upon the pullback and just accept if it goes without me, it goes. So as soon as this candle closes, I've already got it ready to set. I haven't set it though. As soon as it closes, I'm going to set an order for the high of that bearish candle. About to close. Now, I don't want the candle to pop straight up. If it pops up a tiny bit, that's okay. I don't want to break the high of the previous candle. If it does, it's going to be invalid. All right, that's enough. It can't keep popping up. All right, I've set the order. That's what I'm currently looking at. Now, I don't want this thing to flip. If it does, I'm not going to be in it. Simple. And don't stress it. It's only Monday as well. Fair bit of volume in that last candle. And the thing is, guys, even if this just pushes now, so I'm about to remove the order. Pops up a little bit more, I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm gonna remove it. So, I mean, I can understand if anyone's considering this as an entry right now. But for me, I'm gonna wait. Off the 15, you're looking about 22 pips stop loss. And you've got like roughly about 12 to 13 pip target, roughly. So for me, it's probably not enough. So I'm personally just going to wait. And if it now, to be honest, what I want to see happen, and don't just enter because this is what I want to see and what I think could happen, is price tap into that level, then reject. And then some of you might be saying, well, why aren't you buying it now then, if you think it's going to do that? Because it's not in my plan to look for this particular entry itself, so I'd rather wait, see if it actually does hit that level, and then look for my options to sell it. Now, when will I consider buying it though? If it does just begin to load around this level. If this candle closes weak bearish, creating that minor resistance within price action, another little pause within price action, then what I'm going to be doing is on London open candle, creates a slow wick, begins to break above that pause, likely going to be able to get a better stop loss based off that as well, and then I can look for a potential buy option. It may present this 15-minute, we'll have to wait and see. So I'm not ruling out the buys just yet, but not on this candle is basically what I'm saying. I want it to give me, print a little bit more data, maybe the 15 will suffice.
Makes absolutely sense, Justin.
Yep. Just once again, wait just a little bit longer. Once again, we create that minor resistance. It's an entry point for a potential buy if we begin to break that minor resistance. PK g'day mate, I hope you're well, brother. I forgot to check your message, by the way. I've been flat out, man, so but I will get around to that. So it's #1 video editor in the game. If anyone, not just for YouTube, but I mean if anyone has anything that you need edited, he's definitely the man for it. So yeah, so if you want to know how to contact him, send us a message and I'll definitely point you in the right direction.
So Xauusd also moving a little bit on the upper side, so
yep.
That's good.
That's fine. I agree. Nice clean move now to that level for potential rejection. No, even better.
Yeah,
100%.
and if I look for buys, I would only look for buys if we close above this the M30 resistance here.
That's fine as well.
Yeah,
Completely fine. It makes perfect sense. It's just personally against my rules, in particular on a Monday, because it's against the bias and structure and that weekly candle. But yeah, 100% it makes sense. No worries, mate. PK, no worries, bro. So is GJ gonna set up yet again? Now some of you still might have the limit order set in, which is fair enough. But again, being Monday, I'm very, very disciplined, very strict with things. So I've removed the limit order and I'm just gonna wait and see how this candle closes now. So this round, I'm just waiting to see if this closes a weak bearish candle. If it does, there could be options to buy it on the following M15. So you guys see it firsthand how I'll go about reassess. Like as soon as the candle prints and closes, what my plan is, and if it doesn't print the way I want it to print, then how I reassess and come up with a new set of rules. It's a very simple process. It takes out, well, you know, well, should I enter now or not? It's yes or no. It's very simple. At my biggest night in ages on Saturday night. Kind of got roped into heading out. It was alright though. Bit of fun, unusual. But the circumstances, but it was good fun. Here he is, Mr. James. How are you, brother? Maybe just in time. It's a high for bearish candle. 155. These are the spreads are low right now in IC markets. GJ, I've got like a 1 point spread. Alright, so I'm just waiting to see how this 15 closes. If it closes weak, then I might set a buy stop at 192, 170. Stop loss would be below the previous M15, and there would be ways to manage it based off the current M15. But it has to close bearish. If it closes bullish, I'm not bothered. Not gonna take it. You still making the move, so that's alright. Your buyers are gonna be at the table by the looks of Franco, but still could be good for sells. Abdul, what's the difference between buy stop and buy limit? So buy stop's when you place an order above the current price, a stop order, and a sell stop is below the current price, and a limit order is when you're placing a buy on a pullback, so below the current price. Buy stop, you're getting in with momentum. The limit order, you're usually getting in anticipation price is going to bounce off a level. Thanks. All good, mate. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. We may have a trade option.
Is it still valid if it closes bullish in your view?
Look, yeah, it still makes sense for it to come up, but like I mentioned before, at that point, I'd rather just let it make the move. I'd rather have a little minor resistance to break, because if we break it, then we'll likely hang up to the next point of resistance. If we don't have any weak thing to break, I doubt the volume a bit. I mean, it seems to me like we're exhausting more than anything. Yeah, because it provides that entry point. So right now it's going to be valid by the looks of it. Because if we break a resistance, we're likely hang up to next resistance. Want a bit of a lower wick though. All right. So I've just set an order for 170, 192, 170. That's a stop loss just below the 15. And there isn't a great deal of margin. Good thing is, once it gets triggered in, there's definitely ways to manage it. If you want to mitigate risk immediately, you could drag your stop loss up by almost 2/3 to just below the entry counters low. But it is a Monday, so being a Monday, smaller entries. So we'll see, once again, not in yet. Third order of set. And none of them have end up being valid in the end, so we'll see. Maybe third time lucky. And if this pulls back too far, once again, I'm just going to remove it. There's no need to, you know, to jump into anything that might be less probable. But I don't want it to pull back too much further. It's okay, it's broken a low, because now if it was to flip and break a counter's high, the previous counter's high, then what this would suggest to me is we've likely just grabbed a little bit more liquidity from the downside, and it's a high probability at that point it's going to actually make the move up to the resistance. If it pulls back a little bit too far, then I'm going to start to doubt it, because reason being it's going to have to travel too far just to trigger you into the trade. So at this point, it's just okay. I wouldn't want it to drop too much further, because then we're going to have to travel too far just to be triggered in, and then you're going to be taking it in anticipation that it's going to give you a 10-15 before the closure of the pre-London candle. It becomes a little bit risky at that point, because it could pull back to leave an upper wick. So yeah.
Also, you can always just take the same trade based on the 30-minute.
Yeah, true.
Close if
Correct.
It does.
Yeah, that was the exact same thing as before. I was looking at 15-minute pause buy, but ended up closing on the second 15. As this one looked like it was going to close high enough at one point, and it just pulled back the last minute or so. And it was present on the 30-minute. But it just didn't happen to pull back at the beginning, popped up. I was looking for a potential sell if this candle broke its own low at the start of the stream after it pulled back, but it never did so. And yeah, I think I'm gonna wait for that, to be honest. I think it's the safer option at this point. Allow that last bit of pre-London volume to do its thing. It's line ball right now. It'll travel about 11 pips. Yeah, I'm gonna change now. I'm gonna get rid of it. It's gonna travel too far. All right, so that now, as James said, we can wait for the 30. See how that closes. Some of you still might have a limit order, but for me, it's way too past the time when you want to be triggered. Full sends was looking for the 15-minute weak pause, which is what we got, and look for an entry point on a buy above it, but this candle's pulled back a little bit too far. So Ghost just now goes, I've decided to remove the order and wait now for the same thing to pretty much play out on the 30. Close weak bearish, and what I'm going to do is London open, wait for it to create a bit of low wick, and then set a buy stop above the bearish candle's high. Luke, yes. Yeah, that's what we're waiting for. The same thing, but on the 30-minute. Still entry point for sells below that support as well. Definitely entry point for sells because it's bearish in structure on the 30. The bias is bearish. Most recent support we formed on the move to the upside. So if we were to now pop back down to it and start to close back below that point there, I would 100% be interested in selling it. And so long as you got the margin, I'd be interested in buying it too, if it does respect that support. So that new zone has created another potential entry point for options to buy it and sell it. Guys, if you could smash that like button please for again for my little man's birthday. Little champ. Full sense there was, but I know what the deal is now. I know why I got banned again, because in Thailand it's deemed to be fraudulent. I think there's been a lot of scams here when it comes to Forex trade. There has been, and I'm told by everyone. It's all a scam here. So on TikTok, whilst I'm here, I need a VPN, simple. So I used to have a VPN, but I wasn't using it, so I got rid of it. But I'll just pay for another VPN again, and I have to see. I'm not sure how long the ban is this time. It's probably longer. But yeah, as soon as I get VPN, the problem's fixed. I just put my settings to back it in Oz or whatever. It means I get less people on the stream though, that's for sure. Alright, has anyone kept the limit order in? Because he'd be triggered in. He'd probably be about 3 pips up. And it would be nice to see it work if anyone's in it. Now, for me, strong or weak candle, how do I determine whether it's going to be valid on the impulse? I would say if it closes above 50% from top to bottom, it's a weak candle. I can take the impulse entry at London Open. Let's measure it in from the open to the low at this point. So I prefer for it to close above the top horizontal, but I will consider it if it closes above that second one. But I really would like it to close above the top one. And if that's the case, lower wick at the open, I'll set a buy stop. Not, I'm likely to have to wait for another 15 minutes for a potential engulfing candle. The issue with that is you're likely not going to have the margin to buy it if that presents. So we've got to wait just over 5 minutes and we'll see where we're at, if there's good to be a potential buy order for London Open. Gold, as I mentioned before, not really keen on trading it today, to be honest, with the bank holiday in the US. And GU at this rate, what I want to see is how price reacts to the resistance that is approaching. So long as it remains below, it's technically bearish in the M30, and I'd rather sell it in line with the bias, which is also bearish, and that previous wicket candle. For anyone interested. Continues to pull back. Are there any sell options? Nah, for me that's not a catalyst. It's a relatively, if it is to close as is, it's a relatively strong bearish candle. Yeah, granted, but it has it's not engulfing. It's not a lower high, lower low to the previous candle. That previous candle is a very strong candle. You don't have an engulfing 15-minute or anything like that as well. There's no minor support. It's breaking on the 15 as well. So yeah, I'm likely to ignore the sells. But we'll see, because it could have an option to buy it.
I'm liking the look of this close.
Yeah, the pullback. So long as it continues to pull back a bit, and the limit order would have pretty much worked by the end of it. something to keep an eye on these. So if you want a screenshot, you could say it in limit order, although I didn't take it. What you could mention is it didn't break the high of the previous candle, it pulled back, tagged in, and it may have worked. Something to keep an eye on, screenshot it, whatever, keep it in a folder. The more you see it happen, the more you're going to start trusting it. Say, hang on, it doesn't necessarily need to not have an upper wick. As long as it doesn't break that previous candle's high, it still could be valid. So we've got just over a minute and a half. Now let's see. It's hovering around the entry, well, the areas I want it to close at. That'd be valid entry. Let's look at the hourly. Hourly's closing a nice strong candle as well. Oh, I think you guys lost me there for a sec. Alright, this is not what we want though. "30 seconds. Fuck.
Stop.
Alright, so there's no valid entry in impulse. It's close, a little bit too strong for my liking. But it's all good. I don't have an entry for a sell. I got nothing that really ticks the box. So at this rate, I'm again waiting. Very simple. Like I mentioned before, as more data as data prints, I reassess. If it doesn't print in what I determine to be, you know, a valid entry, then I just wait again, reassess and plan again. So at this rate, but it sells, what I need to see is, we are still technically bearish. The bias is bearish. We form a minor pause now in the 15-minute. I could potentially look for a sell in the next M15. That's the sell option for the buyers. I'd be wanting this count to close very close to, if not engulfing, but leaving us enough margin to still target the highs. That is now the one I'm waiting for in the next 15 minutes. Very simple process, very simple thing to wait for. And it's just a matter of waiting. If it does anything else in between, like it makes a move down right now, I'll plan again. And I'm likely going to be looking for the buys from support or sells below it. So that easy. Not stressed about it, no FOMO. Happy to see if this drops, not a problem at all, because I know my options are going to be lower down if that's the case. I was really careful today at leg session, really careful, because those steps, man, there's a lot. They've got a lift there. They've got a lift. There's three levels. So I didn't want to be, you know, that much of a wimp and use the lift. There was a lady using it, but she was using it from level 2 to go down to level 1. I think, come on, are you serious? Why go to the gym if you want to use the lift to go down one bloody level? But yeah, I just walked very slowly. Luke? Yeah, so obviously it closed a little bit too strong for it to be valid. The entry would have been at the top. It's pretty much the same level either way, but I would have just placed it just above the bearish candle, because that's the candle that confirms resistance. I was doing a leg, not the extension, the other one, leg curls, I think it is. And it's a different machine. So at home, on the one at home, I can get within like 4 plates of stacking the whole thing. This one here, I got to like 5 plates in only. Not even halfway, and it's such a different machine. Getting used to it, it's like, oh god, what's going on here? Forming potentially a liquidity grab right now, so it's broken a lot of the previous bearish candle. Again, it'd be a high probability to break the high that it would continue up. The issue is stop loss. It'd be difficult to manage this because you have the stop loss based off the current candle. For me, it's just too risky of an entry on a Monday.
You need to see a 15-minute engulfing.
Yeah, basically very close to, if not. So I'd want it to close definitely above the bodies of the candles to the left, and not just above, if you know what I mean. So it doesn't necessarily have to engulf that resistance, but close right near the high of it would be enough. How about you guys in YouTube? Anyone currently in any other trades? Carl, I'm assuming you're still in your EU buy, which is looking really good. So your EJ looks good for a sell if it broke its own low again. See, this liquidity grabs, to me, it's more valid. Reason being, it's at a resistance. It's tapped in and rejected again if it was to break its own low. Whereas GJ hasn't necessarily done that. So if EJ was to now reject its session open, it is technically bearish on a 30-minute as well. It's retesting the last significant lower high. If it rejects now, it's broken the high of the previous. If it comes back down to break its own low, it's done a few things here. It's grabbed liquidity from that resistance again, and it's likely at that point going to have enough volume to make the move as it breaks its own low again. You got a weak pause on the previous M15. Got some pretty clean traffic up. So yeah, so EJ looks good. Looks really good if it does break its own low again. But if GJ goes up, then EJ is likely going to do the same thing. Likely. Carl, still in. Nice one. Good start to the week then. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna wait for 15. The issue is gonna definitely be margin. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait and see how it closes anyway, and then I'll determine whether it's worth it with as far as the margin, because you've only got about, once you count for spread, about 10.5 pips maybe down to that support, which isn't much, honestly. Well, you guys know it's not much at all. It's usually TP1 around that point. Gonna come back down again. There's a good chance if it breaks on low that it will make the move down, but it's just not enough yet for me. Still, EJ looks great. Yeah, EJ looks good. It does look good for broken zone low again for a potential sell. All right, so we'll keep an eye on 15. With the buys big back on the table. Once again, do we have the margin? That is the only issue right now. The range is more narrow based off the 30-minute to the 4-hour high. Look right in the middle of it. If it closed as is, it'd be valid. If it takes off and pushes much further, then it's just there is no margin. Just have to wait and see how price reacts to resistance if that's the case. Once again, looks like we're not going to the margin, guys. Once you count the spread, you have like 11 max, 10 to 11 pips. Limit orders, what we need to see for that. Oh, this candle. 128. if it closes above that point there could be a valid limit order buy at the high of that bearish candle. Would be. Because that's going to give you more margin as well. In anticipation, new 15 is going to pull back to create a lower wick, tag you in, flip. And if it's got the volume, should make the move. There's a good chance of making the move. So my broker 125 is the high of that bearish candle. I'm just waiting to see how this closes now. Sorry, 178. It has 5 pips above. Sorry, my bad. Has to close above 178. That's 5 pips above that candle. That leaves enough margin for the new candle to create a low wick. And it leaves enough margin for you to DP as well, because right now the fact of the matter is there is just no margin if you were to take it upon continuation. Doesn't mean it can't get you 10 pips, but I would not feel comfortable. So as long as we have an upper wick on this candle, then the options are to limit order the high of that resistance or the previous M15. I'm going to give it a little bit more room and use the 15-minute. Oh, my broker's got no upper wick. Honestly, IC Markets has no upper wick. But based off the 30, I'm still gonna look to take it. Jeff Wilson, all good, mate? How are you? Looking at a potential buy limit on GJ. Once again, if this thing flips, limit order off the table yet again. So I've got it lowered down. In anticipation, M3 is going to pull back a little bit more. If you took the early option, you'd probably be triggering in. If you took the option above that, at that bearish candle's high. Can't break the high. That's gone. Alright, well, if anyone took the early option, gets break even. You've got about 5. That's per the rules. That's just as per the rules, guys. I know it's not that much profit. It's about 5 or so pips. But the rule on this entry for me, anyway, is as soon as it flips, has no need to pull back and break its own low again. So that's where you get to break even. That's where I would be at the moment. But again, we've now broken high the previous candle. It's definitely invalid now for me. Just wait. Very simple. You see how close I am getting to an entry, but all times something has just come along that invalidates the entry, and I just have to remove it and reassess. Very simple. There's no stuff that I'll just enter anyway. There's none of that. It's all very well, planned. Very simple to follow. And that's exactly what works for myself. And that's what I preach, and that's what I teach the guys as well. Have a plan, break the rules, stick to it. In the meantime, guys, give me 2 seconds. I'll be back. Hey guys, anyone take the earlier option? Looks like you'd be almost at TP1. So well done if you did. EJ, continuing up. Alright. Still an entry point for a sell. Especially if this close is bullish, then that's support. Below resistance. Price is to continue bullish. Doesn't really have much of a need to break support. If it does break support, then what we're likely going to do is head back down to the next level. There's no limit orders anymore, guys. It's tapping into target, so you can forget looking for a limit order in the next candle. Now it's a matter of waiting to see how price reacts to resistance. Anyone take the early entry, YouTube? Tomorrow's back and shoulders day. Best day of all. Nothing better than back and shoulders day. Not a big fan of arms. This is alright. It's always back and shoulders the one that gets me pumped.
I hate doing arms. So boring.
Yeah, so do I, man. It's all about, I mean, I suppose every exercise is about concentrating on the proper squeeze and that, but arms and just, I don't know, never really liked doing it. Plus they're missing some of the essentials in that gym. Doesn't make it easy. No preacher curl bench.
Oh yeah, that is mine.
That's good for like if you want to put mass on your arms as well, like lift heavy. And the cable machines, well, the wide cable machine, the one they've got, it when you adjust it to a lowest point, it's still like it's still up elevated a bit too much. So it makes it awkward to do certain things. Like I said, it's not cheap. It's more you're paying for the facility. It's a really nice area. Well, not much lycra in there, but at the moment, well, today there wasn't. A lot of old men. Old foreigners. getting about. I nearly got mauled on Saturday. Probably the youngest thing by about 20 years plus in that area. If I was a foreigner. My mate owns a bar, so I thought I'd go say g'day. Every time I come every year, I'll go say g'day to him. And they basically get all old foreigners walking through.
Hey guys,
G'day mate, how are you?
I'm doing alright.
Nice one, brother. What are you looking at?
Nothing really.
Yeah, things are a
just
bit difficult right now.
a bit difficult. G was looking a little bit good for the buys, but I'm not interested in looking for
Yeah.
the sales only.
Yeah, I'd be same. Only interested in sales today.
Yeah, and GA is looking like it could give something, but there is no range. It's a little bit too choppy for my liking, so
Yeah,
I'll only be looking to take some entries below the low. That is around 193 plus.
yeah, here.
Like 193 200, like that.
Yeah.
Below 193
This area.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little bit too choppy, and even at that you're selling
It's-
into this
yeah,
massive
exactly.
zone here, so
Yeah, it's one of those ones. I'd probably prefer
yeah.
to do that and then pull back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be great because it would have at least cleared all these choppy zones here. So,
Yeah, correct. That would be my concern. It could just bounce off any. So that's the thing. Like, I understand people will still take it. They base it off certain other things, maybe some indicators and that as well, which is fair enough. Whatever works. But for me, I'd rather let it create that move to cut through that, and then I'd trust it more, and it can pull back, reject, and make a clear move. Then I'd rather pick up the pieces on the second impulse if it gives the option.
yeah, for me, I would take it if it have this choppiness just on the lower time frame, but on my
Yeah.
little bit higher time frame, it's clean. But even on
yeah.
the higher time frame, it's still very choppy. So
Yeah. So you
there
mean
is nothing to write home about that.
no? Yeah, I agree. Even off the 2 hour, it's still a bit of a mess.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a while for GU to give something clean, for GA to give something clean.
Yeah.
But GU, on the other hand, it's looking a little bit promising, like because if it
or buy.
gets no, I'm not interested in buys in
Yeah,
GU.
nor am I, but I mean, basically, because I know you trade off the 2 hour.
Yeah,
The 2 hour looks clean for a buy, but again, you still got that support I'd be be worried about that it could reject.
yeah. Actually, it looks clean to buy, but the issue is the reason I'm not really interested in that is because, like, if you look at it, it just if you like bring it down a little bit around 138, no, 131,800,
Yep.
right up there. It break this zone like on Friday. I did take an entry around there for the sales on Friday, and it broke this zone after a lot of consolidation up there. So if it should continue down, I don't think it should come right back up there. And my prognosis for the week is we will have a further pullback, a further retracement before the bullish trend can continue, because it's like the impulsive bullish move on the daily was really strong, and this is the first time that we had a change of character in the trend.
Yeah, it's flippers bias.
Yeah, so I'm expecting it to at least come down to maybe around 130,800, like that, around this zone, before we can see something on the upside again.
I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, so I've tried to take trades like that before when the trend is like against the trend like that. It burns me out. So
yeah, that's fair enough.
I just decide no need for it. I just sit it out.
I don't blame you. 100%, I don't blame you. But I agree with your analysis. I think I'd be looking for sales as well. Definitely. So yeah, you just need to wait though. Wait again. I'd be preferably I want it to pull back a bit further. A bit difficult right now. It's not really trending. It's just consolidating in a pretty choppy area, and there's no real margin to sell it at the moment. So.
And if you look at it on the daily, the way the daily candle closed, it shouldn't really pull back that much up. And if you see, it's already like tapped into the highs of the Thursday daily candle, onto the lows of the Thursday daily candle here. So I was expecting it to pull up just about that level.
Yeah, that's a good
and if
point.
It was to break, if it's to break down below this Friday's candle, that would be a good sell from there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good area to start looking for the options to sell it. So you just have to wait, but obviously it's a bank holiday.
Yeah, that's one of the things. So maybe the options will come tomorrow. It just depends with it building up some momentum in the consolidation. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. Alrighty, guys. Looking at GJs, the 30s closed weak bullish. There's no margin at all. You don't have an upper wick on the current candle. 15s closed well above the support. I'm not comfortable to take it, in all honesty, and I'm to do what I feel comfortable. So I'm not going to risk my cash on that type of entry. I'd rather wait and see. If I had more margin, that's something I would consider, but I just don't have it. You'd be lucky to get 10 pips in that if it actually breaks low, once you account for your spread in that. So I'd rather let it make the move yet again, see how price reacts. I know I can potentially sell it below 191.80, or so long as I do have the margin, if it makes a clean move just now and respects 191.86 roughly, we could look for potential options to buy it. Very simple, not jump into anything in between. I don't feel like I just don't feel it's worth putting that risk on the table, especially on a Monday. Gold, yeah, nothing there, not today. And GU is, like I mentioned before, it's just in an area of consolidation. Nothing for me on GU. And EJ close. All right, so EJ ended up closing back near its low. Similar thing though, it appears that this candle has probably just created the low wick and is now pulling back. So similar thing, if this candle broke its own low again, quality entry, really quality entry. You got a few confluences here. You've got a nice strong rejection on the M15, not engulfing, People often make this mistake. Engulfing is definition of engulfing candles when it closes to the downside below the lowest point of that previous candle. Close below the body, so it's engulfed the body, but not the lowest point. However, it is a strong bearish candle, so that's strong enough for me to suggest if we broke our own low yet again, current candle, it'd be a valid entry on a sell. So if that's for anyone interested in EJ, GJ, again, I'm going to avoid it for the time being. Gold, forget it, and GU's just in a heavy area of traffic right now. So yeah. To the members, I should be right to jump on at some point, but I'm not sure for how long for that educational Monday educational session. Obviously the little one's birthday. I know I'm hoping his mom's gonna say she'll go and get everything and I'll go pick him up from school. I'm hoping. Good luck with that. Yeah, so in between it, maybe when I come home, between the time that people pop around, I might see if I can jump on for like half an hour or so. So think about your questions, think about topic. If there's something you'd like me to go over. We've pretty much been over most of the catalysts now. I think all the catalysts. Been over limit orders, been over trade management. That was a really good one. That was really good though. Yesterday's sim session, I really enjoyed that. Know why the stream numbers are down. I can see someone's streaming who pops in every now and again. Always manages to get all the viewers. Well, I would have thought people were seeing through that by now, but yeah. Is the man that if it's a bullish candle that closes, you're buying the next candle. If it's a bearish candle that closes, you're selling the next candle. Very simple. It's laughable. All right, guys, I teach you to trade the proper way in this stream. There's one obvious reason why he's streaming too. One obvious reason. Might stream NY tomorrow, maybe, possibly. Might do a double, London and NY, possibly. All right, JJ pulling up again. All right, I've got another plan. It definitely requires waiting for this 30 minutes to close. I want to see how this candle closes. Then there could be options to potentially sell it within this gray zone. On the very impulsive entry, but if it presents, I will consider it. So what that will require is the new candle to open up and just pop straight up. Where I want it to pop up to. That will pretty much line up to 50% of the zone. Tap into that. In anticipation at that point, grab liquidity. It possibly, a lot of time what I see happen in this situation is it rejects and it gives you enough to get to TP1, and then sometimes it will continue bullish and close within the zone. But usually it's enough for me to secure TP1 before I might do that. Stop loss back above the high. That's something similar approaching that zone that I would consider. That is the newest of my entries. And so far it's worked really well this year, so so that is probably the last potential option moving forward on today's stream. Guys, if you haven't subscribed as well, I'm assuming you all have, but if you haven't, don't forget to do so. Still quite a lot of you I've found anyway when I have a look at the analytics and not subscribed, so just a way of helping myself out. Be much appreciated if you've not done so. Yeah, want to get those numbers up. Olive, not a problem. You stay safe. Have a good one. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Okay, guys. I think I will go now.
No worries, mate.
So, any NY today?
Not NY. You know, obviously people come around for the little man's birthday. But I'm trying to jump on for an educational session. But I can't guarantee. But it should be right. But time-wise, I'll have to play it by ear a bit. But definitely on tomorrow for London, and possibly, well, NY will definitely be on, but where I do it with just you guys or jump on YouTube at the same time. I might do that as well.
Okay, man. All right.
All right,
Happy birthday to the little man as well.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah, so you have a good one. We'll chat in the VIP anyway.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Okay,
man.
man.
Yeah, have a good one.
Take care.
Bye, mate.
Trade
Bye.
safe, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Now for that to be valid as well, the new candle just has to pop straight up. It can't have a lower wick. If it has a lower wick and it breaks the high of previous candle, high, low, high, high, it's less probable. If it doesn't yet have a lower wick and it's broken a high, maybe it's just grab liquidity and it could still pull back to create that lower wick. That's what it's based off. And again, this candle has to close stronger. I don't want it to close 30 pips below or whatever, below the point I want to enter. So we'll stick around for just over 10 minutes. We'll see what this candle closes, and yeah, we'll decide then and there what we're going to do. EJ keeps doing the same shit, so there'll be no entry on EJ as well. Very slow today.
What are you waiting on for the sells, Justin?
I want this candle to close strong, and then what I want to see is the new candle. Let's do this. Pop straight up, no lower wick. Tapping into, because that will line up pretty much to the 50% of that zone. Tapping into that level, and I would take in anticipation that likely at some point within this gray zone, and from what my experience tells me is around 50% or a wick to the left, what likely going to happen is at some point it's going to reject. It doesn't necessarily mean the candle's going to close bearish, but it's going to reject to the point where it'll give me enough to get to TP1. I've often seen it happen where it will drop, you know, your 10 pips or so, get to TP1, and then I'm not bothered about where it closes. If it closes back bullish, because I'm safely at break even or whatever. So long as it's done that and it's got no low wick, then I'll look to enter if it, and we'll stop loss above the range high. If it does have that lower wick, my concern is if it has the lower low with the lower wick, lower high, high at that point, seeing it's already created a lower wick, it won't necessarily need to pull back to create one yet again to create a deeper lower wick. So I would, it still could reject, of course, because it's at a resistance, but I wouldn't feel as comfortable because I'd be looking at thinking maybe we don't need to pull back to once again, if we are forming the previous candle as a strong bullish candle, we're approaching with volume, we may just continue bullish. So if it triggers me in, I'd be concerned that it could, you know, end up taking my stop loss out and ends up closing a, you know, a very strong bullish candle again or above the high or whatever. So it needs to just rip straight up at the open. Tap into that.
Do you need to see it close above 192.3? That's be valid.
One of that level? No, not really.
The grey box.
No, not really. Just close to it. not necessarily. But that's the only option I can see that would be valid.
This is that entry that I feel like whenever we say about it and don't take it, it always works.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. But again, since I've started taking this entry this year, it's been a really good. I think I've only taken one loss from it. It doesn't present often though, that's the thing. But the statistics on it are good, the win rate on it is good, so could be valid.
And that's a 4 hour zone, isn't it? That one.
Yeah, it has to be a 4 hour.
Zone.
Yeah, exactly. Just one sec, guys. Sorry guys. Alright, see, it can't close though too close to that level, because it wouldn't need travel far to trigger in, and then it could pop up, take your stop loss out, and then maybe reject. So I don't want it to close right near it. Let's mark in a 50% just to see, just it does line up that wick. Pretty much right on it. Yeah, so it's definitely a valid entry point. It's just a bit matter of where this candle now closes. So on IC markets, actually I was looking at the 15 minutes high. For 15 minutes, this is a wick higher up. The 30. $392. I can't close like this. But that's the wick I'm focused on. That one there. So on IC markets, it's 392. So we're gonna wait just over 2 minutes to see where this now closes, if it's to be valid or not. So I want it to close pretty well, any higher really than what it is just now. And no low wick, so it could be scratched very quickly. Forex bounce, sorry guys, I forgot to check the chat. JJ, good morning to you. Is JJ still uptrend from Kenya? Welcome. It's actually the bias is technically bearish, but I can understand based off the weekly why you might think it's, you know, bullish. That previous week candle. Yeah, the structure itself, if you want to look at the structure on the M30 on the weekly, sorry, it's technically bearish. The actual bias though on the time frames I do work out my general direction is technically bearish at the moment. We've got 45 seconds remaining. Close like this, and there is absolutely no option because it doesn't need to push up any distance at all to tag you in. I would not be trusting it. It's too much strength. You've got a pretty strong catalyst forming in regards to a buy, but it's below the resistance. Yeah, so it's going to close too strong, so it's all right. Gave it a crack. We'll had a few potential entries, but this is what it is. It's got no upper wick as well. Likely going to melt, but yeah, I can't take that. Apologies, guys. There is no entry there for me. All right, so to conclude, moving forward, what I want to see on GJ? Well, the buys once again become more valid on a closure on a 30-minute above 192.50. It's closing above psychological round number at that point. Not only that, you're going to flip the structure back bullish in the M30, which would therefore flip the buys back to neutral. So based off the weekly candle, seeing as a high low, high high to the previous, we've already created that lower wick, form support in the minor time frames. If we were to pick in flip, well, if we were to flip the 30-minute structure back bullish, that would be enough of a catalyst to look, in my opinion, for more probable buys. If we are to reject this zone, I mean, the most recent support is that 192 flat level. The issue is there's no margin to next support. I still feel like the better options for the sell below 190, there. Otherwise, if it does consolidate within this gray zone, only for it to start to close below consolidation, look for your catalyst from price action such as engulfing candles or closures below minor support for a potential option to sell it back down. And obviously the buys from 191.850 roughly would also be valid as long as you get the right confirmation within price action to look for that buy option. That is my opinion of GJ gold. My opinion of it is don't touch it today with news to come. With bank holiday in the US, and it's quite evident even now. It's just there's no volume, it's not trending, it's just printing barcodes at the moment, so just stay away from it in my opinion. What full sense, what are possible entries right now? For me, there is none. I wouldn't be taking the impulse buy. Previous count's got an upper wick, current count's got basically no lower wick. It's a pity because the sell would have been valid, but it's just too far up, so I'd rather just let it do its thing, and like I mentioned, look for a closure above for a potential buy on the 30-minute. That is GU quickly consolidating, mess, no volume, no momentum, not trading any direction. Same analysis applies as to before. Look for price to pull back up into this blue zone. Look for your rejection for a sell. I'd probably start considering the buys above it because you're going to flip the 30-minute structure back bullish, which will then give us a neutral bias, I think, or pretty sure. Might be wrong, still might be bearish. EJ is taken off, so EJ buys are looking better now. It's nice clean impulse to the upside, so I'd be looking for the pullback to retest the previous resistance, wait for support to form, wait for your catalyst to form, and that will be a buy option. That pretty much wraps it up. That's pretty much it as far as I can see. If anyone else has any questions quickly, feel free to ask. So today, good test of patience, discipline. Again, had a few options which became invalid, but don't jump in. We just you know, reassess, we plan, wait, react if when the time comes, and that's just what we do. Chef Wilson, pleasure. Everyone else, appreciate those of you who joined. If you haven't hit the like button, if you could, be much appreciated. If you could subscribe if you've not done so, be much appreciated. We'll be on tomorrow, London session, possibly NY as well. To the members, I'll keep you guys posted. I have to go do some shopping for the little man's birthday dinner. So I'll try to jump on at some point. I can't guarantee it. I should be right though for like 30 minutes at some point, but if not, we're on for tomorrow for sure. So all right guys, take care.
Thank you, man.
Pleasure as
Enjoy
always.
enjoy the day with your son.
Oh mate, appreciate it. To the rest of you guys, thank you. I see you guys. James, see you're on the phone. It's all
Bye.
good. Cheers guys. And to the rest of you in YouTube, trade safe, take care, and I shall see you guys same place, same time tomorrow. Until then,
Good night.
bye guys. Cheers mate, bye.